talent gets the players in the room, but character keeps them in it. I speak to character, so how you behave off the field, how you behave when people aren't watching. But I really want to frame it even a clearer way of just saying persistence. Do you understand? One thing about rugby after school is the amount of setbacks you will face, the amount of adversity you will face. It will come in different forms like injury and deselection, and obviously different coaches' opinions differ and can impact on a player's career. So how many times are you willing to basically get knocked down and get back up again? So for me, persistence is top of the pops when it comes to actually seeing a guy who will go on to play.
You know, you can be a superstar with ball in hand, but you're really only measured, in terms of your character that you show and your willingness, your grit, your resilience in defense. Are you able to make that big tackle in the first minute, make it in the 20th minute, make it in the 80th minute as well? Those are the type of guys that we're looking for. So we're always saying, especially defense-wise, you're measured on your effort. So they call it your warrior stats, if you want to talk about that. And we measure you on effort. So you made a great tackle, but what did you do after that? How quickly were you back up again? Did you hit a ruck? Did you go and hit a breakdown after that? Did you go try and steal a ball after that, or maybe make another tackle? So you talk about character. It takes character when you're out on your feet, you've been running, and you're absolutely no energy left in your body to get up again, even though that 120 kilogram guy is running straight at you. Put yourself in that guy's way and still perform the technique with perfection to still only get up again and try and steal. So again, the question will be asked, what did you do? Where was the second effort? What did you do after that?
Let's actually break it down further. You say when no one's watching, when they're watching as well. I mean, our day starts with jumps every single day, understanding what is the player's readiness for the day. Have they filled in their wellness form? This is long before breakfast, you understand, and then obviously portion control, eating to the needs of the day. So certain days require more carbs, more protein, depending where you are in the week, in the cycle. Have you done your review the previous evening? Expectations on players to have reviewed their own performance in the session. Are they taking notes in the team meeting and then applying that on the field? So we talk about putting our best foot forward, but there are numerous tasks throughout the day that require immense discipline, and just missing out on one or two areas has a big impact. So it really does ask a lot of a player.
In this sport, you get tested on what you do outside of actually the four lines. I'll give you a good example. We've got a kid that's really struggling at the moment with some of his throws, but his throws are good at training, but over a while we can see that his throws go down, and all of it is just based on what does he do when he's not around a training. At training, he can do all the throws he wants to, but what he does outside the hours, we can absolutely see it, because he's got no consistency in his throws. So that's all based on consistency in his numbers, and he's not doing enough of those numbers at home outside of the training field. I mean, people say Pollard is probably one of the best kickers of all time in South Africa, guys like Nasport, but that guy, you go see what a guy like Polly does at Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock. That guy's out there kicking probably somewhere at a large school or some school. I remember seeing a guy like Dimitri Katrakilis or Morenstein kicking at ducks at 4 o'clock, and after we finished training at 2 o'clock. But the guy's gone back, done his shift, and he still has to go through after hours after that. And those are some of the characters, some of the stuff that you really have to do to become an exceptional player.
You have to take accountability for your own decisions, and I think that's where a lot of guys fall away, is that they're so used to having a cheerleader stand over them, encourage them to do the right thing, and then be there when things aren't going their way, you understand, and that for me really is one of the truly defining differences between guys who can make the cut and those who can't.
There's your guy that comes from school, he's out of SA schools, he's played Craven Week, he's got all the tick boxes until he gets here, and then there's three guys that came here with no expectation whatsoever in terms of finances or anything. All they want is a spot in that team.
We call them walk-in players, so they're not contracted financially, but they are given the opportunity to train and play at the Bulls. And there is a really high conversion rate of walk-in players to actually getting senior contracts, and that's because of that mental fortitude and discipline. They've arrived and they've got their sights set, and they see what's asked of them, and they fulfill those requirements. So talent, as again, it's so important, and you do see instances of really talented players going to kick on, but the same is true. There's a lot of talented players who don't, because that those last 2 inches up top in the mind, that determination, discipline, persistence, ability to respond to setbacks, that plays a massive part in the actual conversion rate into being a professional player.
Technically, a lot of them are sound. Technically, a lot of them know how to defend, they know how to tackle, they know how to enter a breakdown. You can see it's coached. In terms of tactically how to apply it, when, where, it's almost not coached. When we're experiencing that, a lot of work is done in terms of attack. Defensively, the players have really only just played and relied on their skill and their ability. So when you say, do we start from scratch? Almost. Every year, especially with the under 20 group, essentially I am starting from scratch to say, this is how we do it here at the Bulls, and this is probably how you'll do it for the majority of your career going forward.
How intimidating is communication on the pitch? Because that's something I see at schoolboy level. There's some of these teams that are dead quiet on the rugby field, and I do not understand how do they defend.
They don't realize that a simple thing like identifying a possible ball carrier can make them not get the ball. That's how simple it is. So he's already thinking, oh no, they know what's coming. So he's worried more about me than he is about the ball that's coming. So I mean, you've hit the nail on the head there when you say that. How intimidating is communication? I'm actually going to maybe coin that phrase. How intimidating is communication in defense? Because that's exactly it. The moment they hear how organized you are and how well you have covered them and their different options, how simple is it just being able to communicate what you're seeing and what you think you're covering? Just that is enough to throw the defense off.
It's almost like dances in terms of synchronized dances, almost in any music video, whatever, and you look at that level of expertise in terms of knowing what the rhythm is like, understanding that. We walk through the lineup, that it's absolutely seamless and it's just going to go as if it's an oiled machine. I mean, this past weekend with the Winter Olympics coming up, look at those swimmers inside the swimming pool and see the Chinese inside the water. It's absolutely incredible, and we hope we get 10 out of 10, not just for the throw and the jump, but also in terms of knowing exactly when to know the cadence of when a line-out takes place.
In that lies actually the secret, because there's line-outs and there's line-outs, but at the end of the day, that synchronization, the absolute timing, all that's what makes it tick, especially in pressure situations, right?
I mean, you look at a guy like Ron Orkier, or I mean, what he does for the Springboks in terms of what he does for lineouts, don't think that's a once-off him calling in the game. They've practiced all those moves 1,000 times to be able to get to know exactly what ball they're going to get against the All Blacks, against the best contesters of all time. So that's what it takes to really become a top-class unit, and we've done that over the last couple of years, and we just keep into what really works.
And then you take it to the field, real time, real life, etc., and you put them under those pressure to actually see what it comes down to, right?
Then we've got to take the walkthroughs and we're going to take it into sweat and see what he looks like after a bit of sweat, after a bit of huffing and puffing, and we still add more layers and more synchronization under that, and then we take it to another scenario against opposition somewhere. We'll get a local opposition like Tuks University, or we'll train against Affis, probably their first team, and see, is our stuff working once sweat, once the players started being tired, and then do we take that into a game, and we know that we've added layers, competition, pressure to that, and hopefully by the time the Saturday comes in May when we play in our first game, that we're absolutely seamless and unbelievable with the line out.